Guy Little has appeared in, produced, and directed countless stage and opera productions. Along the way, he was a traveling companion to Patricia Neal, cooked dinner for Betty Grable, and roomed and traveled with James Dean. Welcome, Guy Little.
Thank you for having me.
Now, you're credited with creating and bringing professional theater to Sullivan.
Right.
Where did your love of theater come from?
Well, actually, it was from my mother. She came to Sullivan in the 20s to be a English teacher at the high school, and she loved theater and she directed plays. And so my father was in the cattle business, and he would go to Chicago to sell cattle when my mother would take me to the theater when I was 5 years old or 8 years old. And actually, the first show I saw was a touring production of The Merry Widow. And I was 5, and it was at the Lincoln Theater in Decatur. And I sat in the front row, and I said, that's what I'm going to do when I was 5. So the first thing I had, my parents gave me marionettes, puppets with strings.
Right.
Not the hand puppets. And my father built me a stage, and I produced marionettes all during from the time I was 5 until I was 10. I was producing Hansel and Gretel in the backyard of my parents' home when I was 9. And then I was in high school, and I went to summer stock when I was 16 years old to Keene, New Hampshire.
Why Keene?
Keene, well, because they were doing musical theater. And they gave me a scholarship, and I was 16. And I drove my little car from Sullivan, which was 1,000 miles, to Keene, New Hampshire. And I made my debut in the Kurt Wilde Moss Hart musical, Lady in the Dark, when I was 16, playing the juvenile lead. And then I did 2 seasons of summer stock in Somers Point, New Jersey, which is near Atlantic City, and Ocean City, rather. And I got my equity card, which is a union card for actors and singers, when I was 18 years old, which is kind of unheard of. And I did 10 shows in 10 weeks for 2 years there in the summer. And then I went to Miami and was in the School of Music, where I did my opera work, singing with...
But now, when you were 16 and went to Keene, were you still in high school?
Oh, yeah, of course.
How were you studying?
Well, it was summer stock.
I see. So your parents were obviously pretty supportive.
Very, very, very supportive.
Were they in the theater, or did
well,
they have...
my mother loved theater, and she, directed plays in high school, and my father just kind of went along, and was very, very wonderful. They both were wonderful, supportive people, and very courageous people, and very helpful people, and very loving people, and I was blessed with the best parents that anybody could ever have.
Wonderful. So you ended up in Miami because you got a scholarship.
Yeah.
And was that a particularly noteworthy program, or?
Oh, of course. Oh, yeah, yeah. And I was a very high tenor, and I had an E flat above high C, which is very high. And I graduated in 3 years. I took like 22 hours a semester and graduated in 3 years and moved to New York City. I was married and had a daughter, and we moved to New York City. And then I was working on my master's at Columbia University and also taking classes from the American Theater Wing, and also selling curtains and draperies to stars at B. Altman Department Store, which was 34th and 5th Avenue, which was right across from the Empire State Building.
Was there any tradition of theater in this region? I mean, Chicago, obviously, but...
Well, no, there was no theater anyplace in central Illinois, and I'm still the only, I'm not doing it anymore, but I was the only theater in central Illinois when I opened it. And everybody said, it'll never work, it'll never work. Well, it's been there now for 58 years.
So what year did it start?
Opened in 57.
57, with what performance?
Brigadoon, followed by 9 other musicals, 1 a week.
Wow.
musicals. Roberta, Kiss Me Kate, Song of Norway, Finnegan's Rainbow, Guys and Dolls, Call Me Madam.
How did you choose the performances?
Well, I was always a student of the theater from the time I was a very young child. And I had every recording, and I played them a million times. And I worked in them. Of the 3 seasons that I worked in the East, in New Hampshire and in New Jersey, I worked in them, and I knew them. And when I went to college, I suggested that they do Song of Norway at the theater department, and Miami was the only college at that time that did musical theater. And I wrote to like 35 schools to get bulletins, and they all had theater departments or a school of music, but they wouldn't work together.
So along the way, in your formative years, before 21, you were not just a performer, you were learning the back end of theater also.
Oh, yeah. And I started playing piano when I was 5 years old. And, but no, I did everything. I did props. I sold the grand drape at the theater. I sold costumes. I painted scenery. And when you're a producer and director, you do everything if it gets done.
So you, your wife, and a daughter are living here.
And I had a son later on.
And a son later on. And your wife was in theater also?
Oh, yeah. She actually had gone to University of Illinois for her first 2 years, her freshman and sophomore years. And interestingly, she did the lead in the musical Roberta by Jerome Kern. And the male lead was Peter Palmer, who later did 14 shows for me in Sullivan. And the other comedian in the show was Jerry Orbach. But she transferred to Miami on her junior year, and I was a freshman. And that's where we met through the Opera Guild. I had a car, and I could drive her to the Opera Guild.
Nice. The first season that you did at the theater, did you think that was going to be a one-shot, or did you have a vision of where it was going to go?
Oh, I had a vision, and I hoped it'd go for at least 40 years, but now it's gone 55 years, 57 years, whatever it is, something like that.
It sounds a little like The Music Man. You know, you created the performance, and then the audience found it.
That's right. That's right.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. So you said the first show was Brigadoon. You had, from that point on, a lot of stars that came through Central Illinois.
Well, I started with my 3rd year. Actually, the second year, I tried to get Anna Marie Dickey, who was an opera star at the Metropolitan Opera in New York, and had starred on Broadway in Rodgers and Hammerstein's Allegro, and a number of other shows. And she was since she was a Millikan graduate, she was very well known in Decatur area and so forth and so on. And so I approached her my 2nd season to see if she would do something for me while she was working at the Muni Opera in St. Louis or what have you, and wasn't available. But the 3rd year, I was very persistent. And I went back and offered her a show, and she decided to do Song of Norway, which is one of my favorite operettas. And she packed the houses, and we're totally sold out from all the elite people from Decatur. And so that was really what gave me the incentive to bring in stars. So she was the first stars, and from then on, I had stars.
How did you get them?
Oh, I was very persistent, and I called agents, and I wrote letters to agents and to managers and to stars. And I would make a list of the tentative shows that I had planned and would send a list to the agents in New York and agents in Los Angeles, and say, do you have any stars that will work for the budget I can afford to pay, which was not a lot. And so that's how I got my stars, and I just kept going after them. And
were they ever surprised when they arrived at what they saw?
No, because actually after a few stars were there, like Pat O'Brien and a number of other people, they went back to Hollywood and said, oh, there's a wonderful theater in Sullivan, Illinois, and there was a great producer, and you'll love it, and so forth and so on. So most of them were pretty well fair warned of what they were coming into.
Well, go ahead and name drop a little bit. Who are some of the people that we would remember today that have performed
Well,
there?
I'll tell you, of the 175 stars that I had in Sullivan, half of them are unfortunately up in heaven. And I had most of the stars I absolutely adored. I was crazy about Kitty Carlisle, and I had had her recordings since the time I was like 5 years old of The Merry Widow and The Desert Song, and I was wild for her, and I was wild for Margaret Hamilton, WWW. That's the Wicked Witch of the West, from the desert, from the Wizard of Oz, and she did 5 or 6 shows for me, and we became great friends. And I had the pleasure of staying in her co-op and on 34 Gramercy Park in New York City many times, and we became great friends. And when they made a book on the making of the Wizard of Oz, they asked her to give the foreword to it, and she's pictured in the front page, and she says, and I asked her to sign her autograph. I usually didn't do that, but I did with her, and I knew she would do it. And so anyway, she signed it to Guy Little, the most beloved producer of my entire career. Wow. And Rosemary Prince, who was a soap opera star of As the World Turns, did 18 shows for me and always sold out, and we're still great as friends. She's in her 80s now, and she's still working in regional theater in New York and elsewhere. And, of course, Peter Palmer did 14 shows for me. He and his wife both did many shows, and they were great friends. And they're really, of the 175 stars I had in Sullivan, are the other 100 stars that I had when I was producing in Milwaukee for 8 years at a 2,500-seat theater. And also I had a theater in Joliet called Piccolo Playhouse, Little Theater. And I also produced at the very prestigious Sombrero Playhouse in Phoenix, Arizona. And I had tours all over the country. And so probably I had at least 250 to 300 stars. And there were only maybe a couple that were not delightful and charming.
Who might they be?
Well, they both have passed on, but Ann Southern was very difficult, and she stayed at my home, and I cooked for her and took care of her, and she had a Cadillac and a dresser, and she went back to Hollywood and told her agent that I kept her prisoner in my home. And he laughed because he knew me very well because he booked a lot of my stars. And then the other one that was kind of difficult was Joe E. Brown, the comedian that did a lot of movies. And he wanted to get all the laughs, and he didn't want anybody else in the cast to take a laugh away from him. And really, those were the only two that were really, and they were not really bad to me, but they were not too nice to their fellow actors, we'll put it that way.
I see. Now, Betty Grable stayed with you also?
Oh, no, she didn't stay with me, but I had a house for her. But I adored Betty. You know, she and June Allison, you know, were the top Hollywood stars for a decade, you know, all during the 40s. And I especially was thrilled to have Betty, and she was there for 4 weeks. And Betty wasn't well, and I didn't know she wasn't well. She actually died a year later of cancer. But anyway, I had a house for her, but she would go over to a local bistro, and all of the people would go over there, the members of the audience would go over there, and they would want to talk with her. And And she wasn't really feeling very well, and she was charming and she was lovely. But after like the first night over there, I said, Betty, would you like to come out to my house and I'll be glad to cook for you? She said, oh, that would be wonderful. So for the next 3 weeks, we rehearsed for a week. For the next 3 weeks, she came out to my house after the show, and I served her anything she wanted, and she would say, Guy, God is blessing you. So, and I have many, many handwritten letters from Betty. We became very great friends.
Nice.
But she was gone a year later. So, but she was the tops. And I brought June Allison out of retirement. She hadn't done anything in theater since the early 40s, and this was in the 60s. And she did a new play called Goodbye Ghost, and we did it at Christmas time when there was snow on the ground and it was freezing cold, and we sold out for 2 weeks at Christmas time and into New Year's. And but Eve Arden was great, and anyway, just most of the stars were wonderful.
Very nice.
Wonderful to know, and we have kept in touch as long as they've been around.
Now, at one point, the name of the theater changed, and why was that?
Well, it was called the Grand Theater, and I didn't think that was very appropriate. And my name is Little. I didn't change my name to go with the name of the theater. So I thought it was appropriate to call it the Little Theater. And then, actually, after 1 year, I thought, well, you know, every small town has a community theater, which they call a little theater. So I thought, well, you know, this is on the square, so let's call it the Little Theater on the Square. So it changed to the Little Theater on the Square.
Wonderful. Now, you had a couple of other encountrances, celebrity encountrances. You traveled on a cruise with, just accidentally, Patricia Neal?
No. The Theater Guild, which is a producing company for many, many, many years in New York, it's no longer there, but starting back in the 20s, it was one of the leading producing groups. And it was made up of a number of successful producers and so forth and so on. And they used to take cruises to various places every year, and they would engage about a dozen stars who would perform on the cruise and sing, dance, do monologues or whatever. And so I had always wanted to go on one of their cruises, and I knew some of the actors that were appearing. But anyway, I decided I would take the cruise, and it went from Stockholm to London with stops all along the way and with about a dozen stars. Well, one of the stars was Patricia Neal, and she was always one of my favorite movie stars. And she had a very early stroke and been very, very ill, but made a miraculous comeback. Subject was Roses, movie. So anyway, but she was in a wheelchair, and she had a lady that was pushing her around, and the lady was obviously having a little bit of a problem. And I said, I'll be glad to push Miss Neal around. So it was a highlight. Unfortunately, she died a year later, but she was a charming, charming, beautiful actress and lady.
Sure. Well, among the other stars, early in your career, you had a passing acquaintance with James Dean?
Well, he was briefly a roommate, yes. And I was working, it was in Summer Point, New Jersey. It was my first season there. It was 52. And the theater had been an old casino. And we virtually built it into a theater and worked 24 hours a day for about 3 weeks before it became a stage and a theater. And actually, we were doing Brigadunas, our first show there also. And after working for about 6 weeks, building the stage, building the theater, building scenery, we actually were going to have a day off. And the next show was Born Yesterday. And I had my little car, and anyway, we were given the next day off, Monday, and then the next show, we'd already rehearsed Born Yesterday, and I was playing a bellhop, and my friend Elizabeth Sheridan, who was Seinfeld's mother on the series, was a girlfriend of James Dean. And so anyway, I was going to go into New York for my day off and see Pal Joey and walk the streets of Broadway, which I loved, and then come back that night and go into or go into the opening of Born Yesterday. Well, anyway, Elizabeth Sheridan, called her Dizzy Sheridan, or Diz, was going to go with me, and along with about 6 other people from the theater. So I had about 8 people in my little convertible driving into New York at midnight on a Sunday night, and staying with a friend in the Bronx, and then going to Broadway during the day and seeing a show that night. And she was going to meet me at the Broadhurst Theater where Pal Joey was playing. And after the show, I found her, and James Dean was with her, and he was a nobody at the time. I mean, he'd done some television and some commercials, but I mean nothing major. And she kept telling me how brilliant he was and what a big star he was going to be, and I just went, that's great, that's wonderful. But I mean, I didn't know him from Adam. Well, anyway, we got back we met at the theater after the theater, and anyway, she said, why don't you let Jimmy drive your car back to Jersey? Sure. And I was very possessive of my car. It was a 1946 Ford convertible, but I was very possessive of it, and but I was also very tired because I had driven into New York the night before, and I'd had 6 weeks of hard labor working at this theater that we were getting open. So I said, well, she kept telling me he's going to be a big, big star. That's nice.
He still can't drive.
So anyway, he got in my car, and we headed for Summers Point, which was about 125 miles. And he drove like a maniac. And back then, there were no interstate highways. Everything was like a country road, a tarred country road. And he'd go around those corners and I kind of they put me in the back seat, and I kind of lift up my head. Well, we got back. And Elizabeth Sheridan, Dizzy, said to me, she said, because the fellow that had been my roommate, who played the lead in Brigadoon, was not in the next show, and we had bunk beds, and so anyway, she said she was in a room with another girl, and so she said, is it okay if Jimmy stays in your room? And I said, well, it doesn't bother me. I'm rehearsing or building scenery all day, and I perform at night, and it's no problem. So he was my roommate for about 10 days, and hardly left the room. I mean, I was out working all day and at night, but if I'd go back to get something in the room or something, he'd usually either be sleeping or reading or smoking a cigarette, and very, very polite and very nice, but very quiet, very introverted, I would say. And so anyway, that was that. But he went back into New York that same fall, and he got into a play called See the Jaguar by N. Richard Nash, who wrote The Rainmaker. And he got rave reviews, and it ran for 3 or 4 months. And then he got into The Immoralists with Geraldine Page and Louis Jourdan. And he didn't get along very well with the producer, director, whatever. And so he gave his notice opening night of The Immoralist. And one of the big wigs from Hollywood had seen him opening night, and he immediately signed him to a contract. And he went to Hollywood and did 4 shows and was dead 4 years later.
Wow. What about a book? You've got so many stories.
Well, I have a lot of stories, and a lot of my friends and a lot of my stars have asked me for years to write a book. And I've said, well, if I did, they would have to wait 10 years to publish it after I'm dead. If I told everything that I know and remember about everybody, and if everybody's living, my estate might be sued. So I've got it all in my head. But I mean, not everybody, but so many people for so many years have been after me to write a book. And I said, well, if I did, I would call it A Little by Little. And remembering what Mimi Himes, the star, told me once at a party that I was giving. I always had opening night parties for the cast in my home, and I did all the cooking. And anyway, she had a few glasses of wine, and she came up to me and whispered in my ear and said, I want a little bit of little. So I thought, well, that's a good title for a book, A Little Bit of Little. So
we're going to have to wait a little longer before
we'll see.
We can read that book.
We'll see. We'll see. If I really get bored, but I certainly wouldn't want to offend anybody. And if you can't say something nice, just keep your mouth shut, in other words. So if I did write something, it would be probably mainly about people that have passed on. So.
Well, thank you, Guy Little,
for
being an Illinois pioneer.
Well, thank you so much, and thank you for having me.
And for Illinois Pioneers, I'm Mark Leonard.